Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So I want to invite us to start with a special welcome to one another. And so first of all, I want to wish a Shabbat Shalom to everyone who is here in our sanctuary. It's so good to see everyone here. And a special Shabbat Shalom as well to everyone who's joining us online. If you are joining us on, you got a wave. There's a couple of waves. I don't know whether they can see or not, but I'll let them know. So if you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, I want to invite you to go ahead and head into the chat and just welcome one another with a Shabbat Shalom to say welcome to one another as we have, yes, we made it to the end of the week. It is time to relax. It's time to breathe. It's time to be together in this moment. And so, again, if you're joining us online, go ahead and welcome one another. And I also want to mention that on our website, tilb.org, you'll find a higher quality live stream in addition to if you'd like to share the names of those that you're thinking of when we get to the end of our service for our Misha Berach, our healing prayer, and our Kaddish, our memorial prayer. You'll be able to add their names in there as well. And for all of us, online or here in our sanctuary, I don't know about you, but I feel like I need a little bit of a breath to get into this space. I want to invite us to just take a moment to breathe in a little bit. We, I think, need this moment. In fact, one of the scholars of our Jewish heritage, looking at the history of our tradition, said perhaps more so than the Jewish community has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish community. We need it. We need this time at the end of the week. And so we're going to have a little bit of time together this evening to breathe, to rest, and to transform this space into one that is holy because we bring our voices together. So I want to invite us to begin by singing with one another the words, Hine Matov. It is so good to be with one another. Let's sing together. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Back to the beginning. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Let's do that part one more time. Let's do it. I know we can do it without the guitar. Let's do it together. Here we go. Matov u'manayim. That sounds great. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. One more time. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Well, as it is so good to be with one another, I want to invite us to do what I genuinely think is perhaps the most important thing we will do all evening. And that is quite simply to welcome one another. And so I know that we've done a bit of schmoozing already, but if there's someone that you haven't said Shabbat Shalom to yet this evening or haven't met yet, I want to invite us, go ahead and stand up and go ahead and find someone that you have not talked to yet this evening. Let's say Shabbat Shalom to one another.
Yeah, I just got, for those of us online, I just got the signal from a member of our community saying, we're good. Don't, the whole service thing, yeah, okay, but we're good because we're schmoozing. I love it. To me, this too is the voice of prayer, the voice of song, welcoming one another. And we'll have more of an opportunity as we continue our evening together as well, to be together as one voice, to connect with each other. The Kabbalists, many years ago, up in the hills of Tzfat, and a gentle plug for our trip in June of 2024, we're going to Israel. We're going to have a trip to Israel, and we're going to go up to the very same hills that the Kabbalists used during the time of their heyday. And they would welcome in Shabbat with a little bit extra. They wanted to add a little bit of sweetness, add a little bit to the evening, and so they gave us what is called Kabbalat Shabbat. Kabbalah is literally, the word means to receive something. And so we are preparing ourselves to truly enjoy this evening, to get ready. I know that the evening of Friday night can kind of come and go for me if I don't stop and really note it in some way. Sing, be with the people that I love. And so I invite us to bring out the new words that they offered for us in invitation. Now, these words actually come to us from Psalms, but they were the ones that added it to our service. So I invite us to turn to page 15. Let's sing a new song together as we receive this day of Shabbat, a gift that is only available when we truly open our hearts to it. Adonai. It sounds great. Kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. We'll sing unto God a new song. Well, the Kabbalists did add to our service, not just drawing from our tradition, but adding new words as well. And so the words of Lecha Dodi are given to us and have been so popular that I think it would be difficult to even think of Shabbat without these words set in the service. But you can know that it was not written earlier than that because there is a signature actually in the words of Lecha Dodi. And I'm going to give a little bit of a hint. This is a little bit of a treasure hunt for us. The name of the author, he signed his name as Shlomo Halevi. For those of us who have a little bit of Hebrew, I want to invite us to see if we can find, and I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the very first letters of the prayers. His name is actually written in this particular blessing. Now, I think there's something really beautiful about this, because just as we have sacred text that comes from before the time when things might have been recorded in that way, this prayer reminds us that we are a part of a tradition that is ever growing, and that each and every new time we open up our mouths to sing, we bring a new song and a new way of celebrating something that is ancient. I invite us to join together with the words, and I'll note that when we get to our last verse, so not yet, but when we get to the very last verse, I'll invite us to rise and to turn to the door through which we entered our sanctuary to welcome Shabbat as if she were here to join us on her wedding day. Well, let's sing together, page 20. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'ne'elcha ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha sov ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri. Uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha u'betzochola. Toch emunei am segula boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Now, before we might be seated, I want to invite any of us that has something particularly good that happened in this past week. I love that we are a part of a tradition that says that perhaps even if we were, and another time ask me, I'll go into more detail on it, but even if we were to accidentally transgress maybe even something that is written in the Torah, because it says in the Torah not to have fire on Shabbat. The rabbis go back and forth. Another time we'll go into that. But they say even more important than that is to reach out and to bring a little light into this world. We reach out and we kindle that flame, knowing that it might be available, that the candle is there, but sometimes it takes us reaching out. And so I want to kindle that light of reminding ourselves, what was something good that happened in this past week? So, if you are standing, everyone's standing, and you have had something good, I actually, if you're comfortable, want to invite you to join me. We're going to light the Shabbat candles together. And if you would like, after we light the candles, I I invite you to share what that good thing is that happened in this week to bring that light, not only literally, but figuratively to our community as well. So come on up. Anyone who had something good that happened this past week, something that is a piece of light, everyone is welcome to come up if you'd like, and we'll light our candles together. The rest of the congregation, please feel free to be seated. Come on up. Yeah, it's good. Hey, Jerry, come on over. Okay. All right. You want a light? Sure. Turn off the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. All right, so if you would like, I'd like to invite you to share what that good thing was that took place this past week.
So this may be because it was exactly a week ago. We had a spectacular new member get together that was so joyous, and if you weren't here, come next year, because I think we're going to do it all over again.
Do it again, please.
So we finished our proof of concept, and now it's at the networks.
Two things. Last Shabbat, I was in Jerusalem, and I had two wonderful Shabbat meals, one with a family friend and one with a cousin, and my family, of course. And the other was that my son, who lives up north, came down and spent 3 days with me this week, just him. So it was lovely.
So on the same theme as Jerry, in this last week I reached out to 3 of our new members as part of my job on the membership committee. All 3 of them responded. All 3 of them wanted to write an article or a little bio about them for the Kol Yisrael. And I had conversations with all 3 of them that were just so uplifting, and they're so excited to be part of our community that I got really a big lift out of their enthusiasm. So I'm so excited we have 3 awesome new families coming into our community.
My son got his immobilizer off his broken leg.
We made it safely back from Antarctica and survived the Drake Passage.
And I'm officially retired.
Congratulations. Well, the sun came out, relieving my severe seasonal affective disorder.
And last Shabbat, I was in San Diego and celebrated Shabbat at Temple down there with my son, his wife, and my 2 granddaughters.
Nice.
Okay, my name is Tony. So the last Friday, I go by myself exactly in Shabbat time, around 10 p.m. to 4 in the morning, drive to the valley by myself. And there's the time when no cell phones, nothing, no signal, so I can speak to more close to God. It's a nice experience. It's very nice.
Amen, amen. So I wonder if before we head back, that I want to offer a blessing, and that is that, God, we know that we have light in our lives. And it is truly a gift not only to be able to have these sweet moments, but in the presence of this light of such goodness. We want to give thanks for the opportunity not just to have these moments, but to share these moments together as one vibrant and bright community. May the light of this moment and this day be a sign of what a world can be when it is perfected. May it be a sign and a reminder to us that things are good. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov v'hamitiv, blessed are you, the one who is good and brings such goodness to us.
Amen.
Well, let's continue together as one family with the words on page 28 of our prayer books, the words of Baruch Hu. I'd like to invite us to please rise in body or in spirit. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim berakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mibnei choshech, v'choshech mibnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. We continue with the words of Ahavat Olam, which can be found on the very next page, page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, V'vkumeinu na'asiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, V'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayim be'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. B'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness it must, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osei feleh Nora tehilot osei feleh Malechutecha ra'u vanecha Bokeyam lifnei Moshe Miriam Ze'elianu ve'amru Ze'elianu ve'amiru Adonai yimoch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimoch le'olam va'ed Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 lai. I think comfort takes many different forms. There's many different ways that we find ourselves with the feeling as if we are held in a space. I think that our sanctuary is crafted in a spectacular way, deliberately bringing to the mind and the eyes the image of a talit, being wrapped in a safe space underneath the canopy of a loving and sheltering presence. Whether that be God, whether that be the sanctuary, or simply the company of one another. We give thanks for the way that we feel different when we are together on this holiday of Shabbat. Page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Page 44 requires a little bit of instruction. So, on the count of 3, I want to invite us to practice what we do at Temple Israel when we hear the word et. It's the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet mixed with the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's a grammatical structure, Mark, that we won't get into now. Right? Or we could, Mark, you and I, we love talking about Hebrew. It is quite beautiful. I will wax linguistic for a moment, that it is quite beautiful that the word that joins other words together in Hebrew, that it really doesn't translate. It's just it's a word that joins them together, does come from that first letter and the last letter of the language, tying together all of the words that the Hebrew language has to offer. But that's not. But as they say in the movie Airplane, that's not important right now, right? So we have a tradition at Temple Israel. Whenever we have the word et in our prayer of Vishamru, we either raise up our arms or we actually lift up off our seats. And so I want to invite us to do a little practice together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Et. Oh my gosh, we're ready. All right, here we go. Page 44. Let's sing. Let's sing together. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. I love that one. There's a couple of like mini ets right in there. They're like It's a quick ad. Right. Yeah, say it again. It's like a minuet. I love it. We'll be here all week. Yeah. I shouldn't say it, but I will. Peter Sagal, Wait, Don't Tell Me, his brother actually is a rabbi, but Peter Sagal says that rabbis are just comedians. They're just comedians that couldn't get stand-up gigs. It sounds about right. Feels right, yeah. Well, we are going to continue now to our Amidah. I think that there is something profound to having the words of the Amidah essentially the same, generation to generation, year after year. These words actually have, it's always surprising to me that we don't have usually different melodies that we offer for the tefillah. Even as we change different melodies, hopefully not too much, but we add in and weave in new melodies into our service, the Amidah always stays the same. Well, if you look at the beginning of the Amidah, past that first line, where it talks about the God of different generations, God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and of course in our tradition we said we absolutely must also say the God of Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. That melody stays the same, and it's, I think, a reminder for us that when we pray together this evening, we're not just praying with one another here in this sanctuary, praying with everyone who's joining us online, praying with those around the world who are sharing the same words, but every generation before us. And so let's offer these words together. I'd like to invite us to turn to page 46 of our prayer books. Please rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot U'Mivi Geula Livnei B'nei Ha'em L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Mogen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia Moshiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Chaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Mimi Tumechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom Yehalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And so days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. And so with our prayer, we ask God to fill our eyes with seeing, to fill our minds with knowing, and to let there be moments when your presence like lightning illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see that wherever we gaze, the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue silently, either using the words on the pages to follow or other words we might find in our hearts. We'll join together again on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eit ubechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Well, I don't know about you, but it seems to me like there are about 1.7 gazillion options on Netflix. There's so many different shows. I feel like every time I go on there, it's pushing a different show to me, and it's something totally different, something that I might not have seen before. In fact, they've even started having these things that are like the most popular for, nationally, the most popular for today, whatever it might be. It's overwhelming. There's a tremendous amount of different ways, and Actually, and I'll mention that now, for anyone who is joining us online, now is a great time to write in the chat any recommendations for great TV shows that you've seen recently. I'll have times also where I'll sit down to watch, and I'll have set a little bit of time out, maybe 20 or 30 minutes to watch a show, and I'll have spent just about that entire time just scrolling through looking for something to watch. I'll admit, I like watching the trailers for things, so I'll end up doing a bunch of that. That's been fun. But there have to be hundreds. In fact, I looked this up. There is something like 1,700, Odette, you could probably correct me. Anyone, something like 1,700 different shows on Netflix at any given time. And it's actually so diverse that I will get excited when I'm talking about a show and someone else has seen the same show, because there's so many different options. It's offered to us from that all-knowing source, the great Netflix algorithm, right? In fact, I saw a show at one time that was joking that the executives that were sitting there trying to decide which shows to go on and to boost, they didn't even understand why or how. They just said, we just follow the algorithm, right? It's almost like there's no telling exactly what it is that will speak to each and every one of us. In fact, it's so fast that human beings can't even keep up with what those needs are, and so we have computers that track why certain people like certain things and understand, possibly even better than we do, what we might enjoy seeing. It's not like it used to be where everyone would be watching the same show. Although I imagine many of us are very excited to see when Stranger Things 5 comes out. Just putting that out there for anyone who's a Stranger Things fan. This week, we have a particular and peculiar thing that takes place in our Torah portion. And I was thinking about all of the different options on Netflix when I read it this week. And the thing that is strange that happens at the very beginning of this week's Torah portion, before all of the different plagues, before all of the magical things that happen that we retell during the story of during the time of the Seder of Passover, we have the letters Yud He Vav He, one of the names of God, given to Moses for the very first time. And God says to Moses, no one has ever gotten this name before. Those who came before you, they've never seen this name before. I was El Shaddai to them. I was the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel. But each and every one of them had a different God. A God that was specific to them, a relationship that was unique. This time, Moses gets something a little bit different. And I'd like to suggest that the fact that it says God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, says that they had all of these unique relationships. I'd also like to suggest that this might say that each of us connects to God differently, and so it's strange that it wouldn't say God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Moses. It doesn't say that. It says Yud He Vav He. Now we have to delve into a little bit of Hebrew, so Mark, you'll be on this journey with me. Sorry for calling you out twice in one service, but this particular name of God has a strange set of letters. Yud He Vav He actually draws from each of the different tenses in the language of Hebrew. If we were to try to say the word itself, it would be almost impossible. It's almost like a breath, like wind. People have said it's almost the absence of sound. But when you put these letters together, they seem to denote a word that says both past and present and also implies the future. Now, I think that it's peculiar that of all the times in the history of the Torah, we don't have this name until this moment. Now, there's something different happening for Moses in this moment. Moses has left the place that he grew up. He's moved out and he's living out among a different community. And so not only is he looking back on the story of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, he's looking back on the story of his own life. He's reflecting. He's seeing, almost like we would watch on a screen, a life that is completely separate from him. You know, it's interesting. I have a 3.5-year-old kid, right? And we realized, some of us are nodding like, yes, we've met Adi. So there are certain things that Adi will only understand if I say, you know, squirrel didn't brush squirrel's teeth, and squirrel started getting a toothache. And Adi goes, I get it. It's only when you see it in a different from someone else's point of view, you see it as a reflection. You see somebody else, doing this thing that you're able to see it for yourself as well. Let me say that more clearly. It's almost like when we have the opportunity to look and see a person's life on screen, we can see it in a way that we hadn't seen it before. We can understand our own lives better through the examples of others. Well, Moses was, for the very first time, removed from this experience, removed from the generations of his parents, of the generations before him. It's actually quite a bit more than just his parents, right? And so I think that it's quite fitting that Moses, in this moment, doesn't get an invitation to connect with the God of Abraham or the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, not even the God of Moses, but when he's able to step forward and to look back, it's in that moment that he can see something that's very different than what might have been available to him before. Each and every one of us have our own Netflix cues. We have our own ways of connecting spiritually, and it can seem like each and every one of us are on our own journeys. It's not until we get to the story of Moses, when there's a little bit of a removal from those first moments of creating what the Jewish community might look like, or when we can step back and reflect a little bit, that we're able to see that each of these different relationships with God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, well, they're really one and the same. And so we get a different name for God. We don't get a God of particular, we get a God that is always been, that is now, and that is always in the future. Moses had a new way of relating with God. A different way of relating, but he was part of that same history, that same community. One that revealed a plethora of different options, each and every person finding their own voice and way to connect to something greater, each and every generation, but each one of us all ultimately on the same journey. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue this evening calling to mind the way that we can make change in our world, the way that we can change the lives of one another by simply reaching out, by being there for each other. And so our thoughts turn to those in our community who are in need of healing. Now, we are deliberate in placing the names of those who are in need of healing in our pamphlet. If you see the name of someone that you haven't seen in a while, someone that you think might get something out of you reaching out to them, I invite you to do so. Our prayer takes many forms this evening, and one of them is a simple phone call, a connection, letting someone know that you are thinking of them. If you're joining us online, I'd like to invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat at this time. Together, and for those of us who are here in our sanctuary, I invite us to turn to page 253. This Shabbat we particularly call to mind Cheryl Aviram, Kim DeSellis, Harriet Ellis, Joel Epstein, Linda Fox, Janet Liss, Chaim Joe Adler, Leon Blanche, Martha Davis, Cassandra Diaz, Elizabeth Gold, Shane Hernandez, Paul Lieberman, Mike Locke, Mike Nadelson, Sidney Pewter, and Candy Stevens. If you are here in our sanctuary and are thinking of someone in particular this evening, I'd like to invite you to share their name aloud as my eyes meet yours.
William Fike.
We additionally think together of Frida Ferris. I'd like to invite us to sing together again. The words are on page 253 of our prayer books. We continue now with the words of Aleinu on the bottom of page 282. I'd like to invite us to please rise in body or in spirit. Come on up. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונה ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Please be seated. Well, our thoughts now turn to those in our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. If you are thinking of someone in particular this Shabbat, I'd like to invite you to share the name of those you are thinking of in the chat at this time. Together, our hearts go out to those in our community who are observing Shloshim, the 30 days after the death of someone near to them. And so as we remember Salvador Mayo, our hearts go out to Howard and Dove, Shelby, Max, and Ruby. And as we remember Joshua Kay, our hearts go out to Dorothy Kay and Roberta Friedman, Harvey Friedman, Wendy Kay, and Pamela Kay. And additionally, this Shabbat, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Irving Blatt, Peggy Brown, Sam Cardenas, Kurt Charipper, Jack Dolino, Ted Ellis, Virginia Garabedian, Marilyn Gotts, James Honigman, Nathan Isaacson, Sarah Kaiser, Doreen Kitzner, Albert Liss, Solomon Miller, Annette Ostroff, Paul Phillips, Harold Pottybaum, Pearl Ross, Paul Sachs, Barry Sanderson, Faye Shapiro, Louis Snyder, Morton Weber, Susan Weiss, Helen Wolf, Young Wolf, Sadie Zoller, and Edith Zelchik. If you are here in our sanctuary and are thinking of someone in particular this Shabbat, I'd like to invite you to share their name aloud as my eyes meet yours. We add to these names Edith Caddison Schneider. I'd like to invite us now to turn to the words on page 294 and to rise together as one in love and in solidarity as we offer these words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah be'ama divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala Bizman Kariv Imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mebarach Leolam Omeo Maya Yit Barach Vishtabach Vit Pa'ar Vit Ramam Vit Naseh Vit Adar Vit Alev Vit Halal Shmei de Kudusha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata Vishirata Tushbechata Venechamata Damiran Be'alma Vimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. V'sei shalom b'mramav, hu yasei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yishvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. Please be seated. I'd like to call up a member of our board of directors, Bobby Horowitz, to share some of the goings-on at Temple Israel. Yeah, thanks, Bobby.
Going on here at Temple Israel. And I want to say it's really nice seeing some new faces here tonight, guests, and hopefully we'll see you again. Can you not hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. So for announcements, tomorrow morning, join with Rabbi Fox for our weekly Torah study beginning at 8:45. Torah study is back being offered in person in Alban Hall as well as on Zoom. Introduction to Judaism with Rabbi Fox and Rabbi Loving is just getting started on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. So contact the temple office if you're interested. If you have young children or grandchildren, you don't want to miss our next Hot Shabbat with Rabbi Fox and Cantor Cooper next Friday, January 27th at 6 p.m. A free pizza dinner follows the service. Nice. Next Shabbat, Friday, also, January 27th at 7 p.m., join us for Got Shabbat, always fun, a jazz-infused musical Shabbat service with Kendra Kogert and the Shabbatones. Lastly, plan to join us for our 99th birthday weekend on February 10th to 12th with musician in residence, Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter, Cantor Doug Kotler. Sorry. Okay, we have many classes and programs that meet weekly, so make sure to read your Shabbat program or view our calendar on our website. And if you ever have any questions or about how to attend any of our programs and classes, look for our emails or call the temple office, and our staff's happy to help you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
I'll take it. Sure, thanks. Thank you, Bobby.
So, we have in our tradition a set of words that remind us of a simple concept. I think often the most profound things are perhaps the most simple, but the most difficult really to take to heart. These words that come to us from our sacred texts, they say very simply that God is able to build this world, and God is able to build this world, and that what that means is that we would build this world. Now, how would we want to build this world? Not just, we all know we would want to build this world with lots of strife. No. The idea is that we would build this world with love. And so the concept is very simple, right? That if we build this world and we build it in a loving way, then that is quite simply God building this world in a loving way. So I'm going to teach us the words for this song. This is our closing song for this evening. And so I'll start by teaching us the words, then I'm going to invite us to a small activity. So here we go. The first is Olam. Go ahead and repeat after me. Olam, Chesed, Yibaneh. And the rest out of that is Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. So you can, if you say Lai, Lai, Lai. There we go. Okay, we got that. And then God will build this world from love. And if God builds this world, I'm sorry, David, you'll have to help me remember the we added this very recently. Olam Chesed Yivaneh. We will build this world from love. We will build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, God will build this world from love. Okay, we know all the words. Should we do the Hebrew one more time? Olam, Chesed, Yibaneh. All right, in order to sing this, there's one other thing that we have to do, and I want to invite us to take our right arm and put it up and place it on the shoulder of the person next to us. Sorry, Joanne. And to take our left arm and hold it up, place it on the shoulder of the person next to us. Let's sing together. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. We will build this world from love. Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. We will build this world with love. Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. And if we build this world with love, Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai, then God will build this world with love. Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. Olam Chesed, Olam Chesed Yivaneh. Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh. Yalalai, Lai, Lai, Yalalai, Lai. Olam chesed. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. One more time, Olam chesed, just our voices. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yivaneh. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Shabbat shalom, everyone. So we have one more thing I want to invite us. We have a little bit of Kiddush and Motzi, and so I want to invite us to come on up. Let's join together. Let's be together as one community as we conclude and finish our service together tonight. By the way, Rabbi, on Netflix, Extraordinary Attorney. Come on up, everyone. Come join. Let's join together in a circle. Hello, hello. Let's join together in a circle as we offer our blessing. Hi. Woo.
Unicorns don't say nay.
Oh, no. Yes, unicorns. Oh, all right. Come on up. I think that we can have enough room. Maybe if we scoot back a little bit, we can all be together and we can all see one another. And Gary, I know that you are with us. Let's offer a blessing. Now, I think I can, well, I'll keep it on for those online. I think our rituals have really beautiful things in them. In fact, I think ritual is primarily to remind us of things. And we have our rituals this evening that remind us of sweetness. An entire ritual meant to take the joy and sweetness of this day, place it right there in our cup. Let's offer our blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, b'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, theotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. Yeah, so Cantor, Cooper, and I will joke that it's, they'll say a good year for wine, and so we say for Menashevitz that it's a good month, right? But I guess we've gone down to it's a good day. Good hour, yeah.
Yeah, we'll eventually get down to a good hour.
Right. Yeah, you buy Menashevitz and it's only partially made into wine. You have to leave it on the shelf for a few years. So. We have a tradition of being connected to one another as we offer our blessing for our challah. So if you place your hand in the hand or on the shoulder or somehow connect with someone who is connected to someone who's connected to someone who's connected to someone who's connected to the challah, then we are all blessing this together. Let's offer a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. Te'avon, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.